Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. In this video, we're going to talk about how I can develop a Google Chrome extension locally simply using DeepSeek for code generation and using a code editor on my machine. It's very important to find the idea for your Chrome extension. We usually create a Chrome extension if we have an interesting idea that we want to develop for ourselves, for our business, because whenever we use Google Chrome, I'm actually going to show you extensions are always nearby. As you can see here, I can click here and actually find the extension, and that actually makes the system very, very fast. So we always have several types of extensions. Extensions allow us first and foremost to save time, or sometimes we can create extensions first and foremost to save us time. Or sometimes we can create extensions to make money. That is to say, like here, an extension that does the optimization and the report. And down below, you'll find that the extension will ask you to pay money to get the full report. And sometimes we create the extension, we offer a free service, but we simply place affiliate links or even Google ads inside to be visible and make money. You'll see that here on Google's official site. We find that there are a huge number of extensions in the world, and each extension, of course, like this one, has been downloaded 1 million times, and so each extension actually provides me with a service. Today, Google Chrome, of course, has very, very good support where it will show you how do you actually develop the extension. But of course, it requires a lot of development and programming, and the API isn't easy to understand and manipulate. That's why we turn to artificial intelligence, which will help us create and set up this extension. Just to give you an idea, there are several people asking about the price of the extension. If we go to a professional company that specializes in creating extensions, you'll see that they charge for it by the hour, and the rate is 18. And to start making a really basic little application, you need to start counting on $1,000. Today, thanks to that, we can simply program, develop, and set up an extension. This is an example of an extension. You'll see that most extensions always have the same files. There's a simple and clear structure that you need to follow. That's why I'm going to give you a little diagram. Here, you'll see that this is a print. Here, you'll find the technology that needs to be followed for that to be, of course, operational on Google Chrome. There, a little bit the different technologies as well as the basics to use for creating it. And here, too, if I scroll down a bit, you'll find the information about the developer persona. And above all, what interests me is this. Here, you will simply put the idea of your project. So here, you're going to put the idea and you're going to add a little bit here, what we call the output. That means you will obviously change this part to reflect the idea of your project. So for me to test, I'm going to do something simple that will help analyze websites. Just a little extension that analyzes the sites where I input a prompt and tell it, here, I want you to analyze this. For example, the technical part, the design part, the HTML part, and it's going to give me recommendations. And here, this is a bit of the output, which means what the system is going to produce for me. It's simply a display of that result, and you'll also find the important techniques involved. And above all, be careful. This is the JPD chat. It's the CAPI API actually. Our key actually chat JPD that you need to change yourself to put your own with the JPD chats. And here, this is a bit of the code structure that you obviously need to respect, even if we change it a little bit. The main thing is that artificial intelligence will create for you an architecture, a structure similar to this one. So here we have our take. We know a little bit that we just need to start the programming. I'll show you right away how I'm going to generate it simply. My code and simply have a system inside my machine to set up this development. Before starting the video, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Firas. I have a PhD in artificial intelligence and I am a professor at the university. So if this is your first time watching my video, I invite you to subscribe here because I post every day training, practical guides, tutorials on the latest in artificial intelligence and digital marketing. And for those who are subscribed, I wanted to give them a little gift. It's exclusive access to my pack of 100 courses. So what do you think In the description of this video, there's a link to my e-learning platform with a special coupon, and it will give you access to 100 courses. So there are actually over 6,000 videos in various fields: marketing, artificial intelligence. So what are you waiting for to get started? And there, I wish you a great training. So the first thing to do is to go to Visual Studio and download your code editor, which is Visual Studio, a Microsoft product. It's very, very interesting, of course. You can, of course, choose which platform you want. Here it's Windows. Click here, select Windows. For me, it's Mac, so I'm downloading that one. Once it's downloaded, installed, you also actually need the Node, because that one actually is somewhere the library that will run, which allows us to execute JavaScript everywhere. And there you just need to download it, click next to install it on your machine. So let's go. So now I'm going to take the prompt. Actually, this is all my prompt. There's the objective, where there are, of course, explanations about all the files that need to be created. There is also the requirement that it follows a certain number of what we call libraries, and also the files that are required for everything related to Google Chrome. Here too, I'm giving him this part, the context of my extension, so he can develop it, and also, most importantly, the output of my extension. I'm explaining exactly what my extension is for. And you'll see that here, I'm giving him my key actually, ChatGPT, which you obviously need to create your own key. This key is just created temporarily for this video, so there's no need to copy it. Then, I give him the project structure so he can follow along. In fact, exactly the structure that I'm proposing to him. Here and there, he needs to give me all the necessary files and also the installation. So I'm copying all of this. I'm just going to open it. So now I'm going to go to my desktop. I'll show you. So here I am on the desktop, and I'm just going to create a new folder. Okay, I'm going to name it like this. This is bar my folder. Now I'm going to open. So Visual Studio for everything more. Soon we're going to start with some psychs. So here I am. I'm refreshing, of course, and I've activated DeepThink. I'm not putting just one, no need for that, and now I'm making a caller. And I'm launching my extension. At the same time as it's charged, I will open, therefore, my tool, the Virtue is the studio. There it is. It's already there. Virtual and a studio. So here is my folder. I'm obviously just going to open a new one here. Folder called Chrome, which we just wrote together. So I'm going to go to File and Open Folder to open the folder. And here I'm just showing my desktop, and I'm opening it, so it's perfectly pointing to my folder. I can obviously raise this a bit to work on the terminal. When you see it there, it's of course on top. I'm going back to DeepSeek to still see it in thinking mode, so I'm letting it finish so I can follow the instructions. Who is going to quote it for me here so I can copy it perfectly into my code editor? And there you go, it just finished, and it even shows me how I can simply run it to test it. That's very good. So, first of all, I need to know that I have to copy and paste now, because there are actually other tools. Like IC Client, for example. This client here allows for the automatic integration of DeepSeek. For DeepSeek to work, it's going to create the file itself for me. But since I'm working with DeepSeek remotely, to avoid paying for the API, actually, to keep it free. So that's why I need to do a little copy and paste. So to start, we're going to set up the structures and dependencies. So we're going to follow along perfectly here. So here we're doing a copy. We're opening here. So now it's going to create the files for me. Well, let's get back to the code. There you go. So now it's going to write the different files for my extension. So the extension, he wants to call it Chrome extension. So we're going to do it on Chrome extension. Okay, and there. So now it's going to ask me to actually enter this folder, which is the Chrome extension, so that I can actually add the files inside that folder. So now we're going to enter Instead, we're going to copy and paste that. Also, we simply need to run a parent copy and paste. And there you go. I'm in the files. As you can see, these are the files that are inside. So he's asking me to install npm installs. So let's see if it's there too. It's going to ask to do it. So we enter to do that. npm installs too. So we copy that and we're just going to go back to our extension. All right. Here we're going to paste and execute that now. He's actually creating the npm installer environment. So we're waiting for him to finish. And at the same time, what we're going to do is be careful. We're going to copy all these files. So yes, for example, this file here, he's asking me to copy this file and it's new information. So I have to do the same thing for all the folders. So there you go, he's finished here. So what I'm going to do is look for the file in question. I select, I paste, I do a save against the recorded hope. I have to do that for everything. All the files. Even if there's a new folder, we really had to look at this one. We need to write it down. There you go. This file doesn't exist. So I'll pause while I copy all these files, absolutely everything in my editor so that I can, of course, run this command at the end to execute them. So I'm going to show you here, for example, this file doesn't exist. So I click here. I come here, I go to new file. As you can see, I paste the name. Then inside you just need to click here to copy and paste like this. I'll leave you like that. You see how I create files. Look, this one didn't exist, so I'm going to do it like this, copy. I'm coming back here. I'm always going back to the root here. It's very important. I'm going to do new file and there I'll put it with the layout like this. So I was going in there, etc. So we had to do all of that step by step, file by file. So here, this is actually where the most interesting part begins, because here, in a way, we start in unlock mode. Because here, when I paste actually here, the shell, the command, so we're not really sure if it's going to run here like this, a little bit, so there are always actually errors that come back. So I'm going to show you how blocks can sometimes take a few minutes and sometimes it can take a few hours. So I'm running it. He is compiling. And look, so here it tells me there's a little problem with that file. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to copy this. All right, I copy this, I come back here and I tell it to fix the only bugs or glitches. Okay, I'm going to paste it, I'll let it run. So it's going to review the code. He's obviously going to rework the code here. It's going to ask me to copy and paste the new code to replace it. So here I'm going to let it run. I'll take the new code that it's going to suggest for me to update, and of course I'll retest it to see if it works. The bulldozer. So finally that worked here. So the creation of my stacks of my attentions so that it ran correctly. I've actually made a few updates. I think I've run several queries on DeepSeek-R1. One thing, of course, first, I actually write here images that are called favicon because the system can't work. If you don't put the Go from the extension, that's important. Favicon, I went online and I loaded the favicons with those dimensions just to test. So they're small images, and for it to run correctly here, you'll see here, I'd like to show you on DeepSeek. Every time I have an error, look, I actually copy the error completely. So I do a copy paste like that. I tell it, listen, I want you to handle this. And then it simply tells me what I need to do. It says, here, create a folder and add an image like this. And just before, I'll show you, when I gave it an error, it simply asked me to create new files. So I did the same thing. I created new files. As you can see here, there, I updated the file. I created a new file here. I created a new file here. Everything I'm doing actually is just following what it's asking me. Then it tells me, listen, your structure needs to be like this. I tell it yes, because I checked it's the same structure. So after that, I ran it and it gave an error. And then we have, so create the fables and cones. And so the problem has been solved. So you really have to follow what it asks you. And that's how you can get results. So for me, we've done 2 or 3 iterations to actually get the final result. So what do I have to do now? So here, this is my folder. Actually, it's compiled. All I have to do is run it and see how it works. So for the execution, I'll show you that right away. So here, I have my file. So it exists here in Chrome. So if I open Chrome, I need to find that. Actually, it's the file with all the codes for my system. And the most important folder is this one, dist. This is where, when I open the Google Chrome extension, I'm going to import it right away. So now head over to the extension. To go to that page, you type chrome//extension. Here, I am here and there. Attention, the developer mode, as you can see here, needs to be active. For it to work, you need to click here to activate the mode. Here we go. And now I'm just going to click to load the extension. So when I click here, I just need to show it. I'm at my desk now, I'm in the office, I'm taking the extension. Attention, I need to point to this folder here for it to work. There we go. And then I click on select here for it to work. So I can simply import the file. So it just loaded my extension. Once the extension is loaded, I'm just going to use it. So I'm going up here, I'm going to load it. This one. So we're going to pin it. There we go, it has just been pinned. I'm opening a website, I'm opening my website. I click here and there it is. So here I have my extension that just opened. So now it's suggesting that I add a specific analysis print. What do I want to analyze? And now I have the pleasure of analyzing the page. Of course, I can come back here for sure. I can definitely update this system. So I can come back here, still on DeepSeek. And of course, to ask him to make improvements regarding my interface and the functionality regarding the tests I received, I can add several other features by collaborating with DeepSeek. And at the same time, update the code in the editor. So let me know in the comments if you want us to come here on Klein, simply, and I'll show you how I add my DeepSeek API so that when I run a command here, you'll see that when I run in this text, when I run a command here, it's going to develop for me. It's going to unlocked for me. That means I don't type any lines of code, or clearly I haven't typed. But I'm not actually going to go and make the updates and fix the errors. Every time I have an error, I tell it to fix the bug. So it's him who intervenes on the files in real time. So you just write in the comments, automation with DeepSeek or just DeepSeek. And just like that, I'll show you right away how I can add the stack directly in my editor and run the code in an even easier way. And we can go much faster with this method. Thank you for watching this video. So if you have any questions, feel free to write to me in the comments. I do my best to answer all your questions. And if you like the video and want to see the upcoming updates, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much and see you soon. Hi.